My name is Lindsay, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing something kind of fun, kind of boring, but definitely right up my alley and probably right up yours if you clicked on this video. So right now we're going to do my June reading wrap up, even though it's like a little bit late and it's already the middle of July, but I'm getting to it now, so we're just going to jump right into that. So in the month of June I read all of these, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I read 5 books, which counting wise isn't a lot, but if you look at the stack that's bigger than my head and the thickness of these huge books, you will definitely see that it's quite a bit. So okay, so I've been in a reading slump for quite a while, which is kind of bad, but also meant that this month was very, very productive for me. So I got to read, I didn't count the pages, but it's probably well over 2,000 pages, so I'm really glad for the first book that I read. It wasn't the most exciting book that I read in my entire life, but it definitely pulled me out of my reading slump, so I'm very grateful for it, and that book is Someone Like You by Sarah Dessen. So I started reading Sarah Dessen when I was like maybe late middle school. I think I was in 8th grade when I picked up the first Sarah Dessen book that I've ever read, and I thought I was going to enjoy it more than I did, but I also really enjoyed it and wanted to read the rest of her books, and then I bought a few and I never continued on, so that's what happened with that. But I was over at my friend Jess's house and she had this book on her bookshelf, so I pulled it off and I just started to read a couple of pages. I'm honestly not sure why I did it, but I did, and I'm very glad that I did it because this book really pulled me out of my reading slump, and without it, I don't think I'd be making this video right now because I don't think I would have read any of the books that I read during the month of June. So for those of you who don't know, this book is about a girl named Hallie and her best friend Scarlett. And Scarlett has a boyfriend and his name is Michael. And at the end of the summer, Michael gets in a car accident and he dies. So obviously Scarlett's like really upset about this, and she takes it very hard. And about a month later, she finds out that she's pregnant with his child. So her baby dad is dead and she's carrying his unborn child. Yikes. I honestly can't even imagine going through that. Like, that's horrible. So this book is pretty much about Hallie and Scarlett going through the pregnancy, figuring out what they're going to do, learning about parenthood and pregnancy and friendship and all of that kind of stuff. So basically Hallie meets this boy and his name is Macon. And they've gone to school together their whole lives, blah, blah, blah. And Macon is kind of like an outcast at school, so Hallie knows of him, but not like a bunch about him. And apparently he was friends with Michael, so Scarlett knows him, Hallie's just meeting him, and she's like, eh, you're kind of weird, but she kind of likes him too. So it's about their relationship, it's about Scarlett and Hallie's relationship, and them trying to go through the pregnancy and whatnot, and it's so good. I think it's a great coming of age story. It was definitely a great summer read. It went by so quickly. I read this in like 2 days. I mean, it's quite thin anyway. It's only 281 pages. So like it's a little under 300 pages. I read it in 2 days. So I kind of read it in like a couple of sittings. But it went by super fast. It was super good. I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely will be picking up more Sarah Dessen soon, but this was just the first one that I picked up that got me out of my reading slump, and honestly I'm very happy that I picked it up because it was definitely worth it. So I would definitely check this one out if you're looking for a new summer read. The next book that I read in June is called Again But Better, and it's by Christine Riccio, which a lot of you watching this video probably know of and are familiar with in the booktube community. Whose name is Poland Bananas Books, if you want to find her on here. I can also link her down in the description, so go ahead and check her out because she's fantastic. I've been watching her videos since I was around 12, I think. I was in middle school when I started watching her, and she definitely helped me get through a lot when I felt sad and when I felt uncomfortable and when I felt like nobody really cared about me, and when I was just very lonely in middle school and books were kind of the only thing getting me through that. Christine was definitely there too, talking about books and making me realize that it's not that weird to like books. So thank you, Christine, for that, and thank you for this book too because I loved it. I definitely knew as soon as it came out that I had to pick this up, and I did, and I wasn't disappointed. She really served, and I'm really glad that I picked it up because it was phenomenal. And just, Christine, your book was awesome. If you're watching this, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. Yeah. So basically, this book is about a girl named Shane who is going into her junior year of college, and she hasn't made many friends in the past, so she decides to go out and study abroad in London. Shane is a pre-med major because her parents want her to be, and she actually just wants to be an English major, and she wants to do journalism and all of that kinds of stuff. So when she goes to London, she lies to her parents and says that she's going for pre-med, but there's no pre-med track on the study abroad program. So she's actually doing journalism and English when she goes abroad, and she gets an internship, and she does all of this fun stuff, and she has to hide it from her parents because they think that she's doing pre-med. Along the while, she meets a bunch of new friends who live in her flat, and they're awesome. They go and they travel all around Europe through their study abroad program, which is so cool to read about. It's definitely cool seeing a book talk about so many different parts of the world. It's really cool to see. I really enjoyed it because it was from a college student perspective, and now that I am a college student, it was definitely a really great pick-me-up because college is a weird time, and you're just out of high school, you're technically an adult, but you don't feel like an adult, and you're still going to school, and you're trying to make all new friends, and all that is really, really hard going into adulthood. And I'm going through that right now. I'm kind of past that at this point because I already finished my first year of college, so I have my group of friends, I know what I'm doing now, and it's all very good, but I definitely wish this would have been out when I was going into college because I think it would have given me a little bit more insight to what it's like, and I think I would have maybe branched out and made a few more friends my freshman year. But definitely it was a great, great read. It was a great romance. Pilot Pen is the love of my life. I wish I could marry that man. And it was so good. There's also like a really great plot twist at the end that I was thinking about the whole time I was reading. I was like, what if this happened? Like, that would be so awesome. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen because it just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, and I doubt that that's gonna happen. But in my head I was like, what if this thing happens? And it did. And I was like, yes, Christine, yes. It was so good. It was everything that I wanted. It was the best contemporary that I've read in a long time. So thank you, Christine, for making this awesome book. It also took me out of my book slump, so thank you for that, and thank you for just being an inspiration for the past many years since middle school. I definitely will reread this book, and I highly recommend that you guys pick it up because it was phenomenal. So you're just going to want to check this one out. Christine's links will be in the description box below, so you can check her out. Tell her that I said hi, I guess. So that's this book. The next book that I read in June was Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. So I've had this book on my shelf since 2016 when it came out. I was so excited to read this when it first came out. I loved the Mortal Instruments, I loved the Infernal Devices, and when I heard that this baby was coming out, I wanted to pick it up. So I bought it the day that it came out. I started reading it, and I put it down, like I did so many books over the past couple of years that I'm very sad about. But I finally picked it back up, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint, and I think I'm even gladder that I read it now than when it came out because I think I got even more out of it now. It was so good. If you guys haven't read any of the Shadowhunter books, you need to. They're amazing. Just putting that out there right now. You do have to read them in a specific order so you don't get spoiled because the Infernal Devices spoils the Mortal Instruments, the Mortal Instruments kind of spoils the Infernal Devices, so you gotta read those before you read this, and you might want to read those in order. I've also heard that you should read the Shadowhunter Academy before you read these. I haven't read that yet, but it is on my shelf over there, and it is definitely on my TBR list to read soon. So please read them in published order, please, so you don't get spoiled for that series. You wouldn't want that. And you definitely need to read all of those before you read this one. It was amazing. But for those of you who don't know, Shadowhunters are half human, half angel, and they fight demons and monsters and all kinds of stuff to keep humans like us safe on Earth, and they're blessings. They're beautiful, They are badass. They are perfect. Like, I want to be a shadow hunter. I want to stab things. I want to do all the shadow hunter stuff. It's so good. So this world follows two shadow hunters named Emma and Julian as they fight demons and stuff. Basically, Julian's family they run the Institute, which is where like shadow hunters can live and stay and do whatever they want, come and go as they please. It's just a place for them to be housed and to be safe. So Julian's family runs the Institute in Los Angeles, and Emma is staying with them because their families are super close. So Julian's family died in a really, really bad war, and his half-brother and half-sister got taken away from him. So he's trying to find them and get them back to his family. And Emma's family, both of her parents were killed in the same war that Julian's siblings got taken in. So she's trying to figure out who killed her parents. It's so good. That's all I can say without spoiling it. If you want an in-depth book talk on Lady Midnight, please let me know, because I'm willing to do it. This book was so good. Emma and Julian are amazing. They are so cute. I think I liked this one more than the Mortal Instruments. Not more than the Infernal Devices, but more than the Mortal Instruments. It was so good. So if you guys have read the other Shadowhunter books and haven't read these, you should pick them up, because the new series is coming out in March and you're not going to want to miss out. So pick these up. If you haven't read any of them, please pick up the Mortal Instruments and start reading them, because they are phenomenal. I know I've said the word phenomenal like 18 times, but they're so good, and you're going to want to get on this train, because there's many more books like this where this is coming from, and there's already like 10 books, so if you don't start them out, you're going to fall really behind. It's going to take a while for you to catch up, so you're going to want to read them now before the bandwagon gets too far ahead of you. Please just pick them up. They're so good. The next book that I read in June is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare, which again is another one of the Shadowhunter books. It's the second book in the Dark Artifices series, which is the sequel to Lady Midnight. So I can't really say much about this book without spoiling it. It's just Emma and Julian's story continuing, and I thought it was fantastic. So good. So good. Again, if you want me to do an in-depth book talk on this, please let me know, because I loved them, and I think I may do it anyway, even if you guys don't say anything about it, because I just want to talk about these all day long. I just love them. Cassandra Clare is the love of my life. Julian and Emma are the loves of my life. Jason Clary, Tessa and Jem. Oh man, all of the people are in these books, and it's just so good. This one, I know this was a lot of people's favorites out of the three. I think this was honestly my least favorite, and I think I say that just because it is a sequel. It was very, very good. I did love it, and I think I still gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. But since it's a middle book, it's kind of ending the first book. So it's taking everything that we had in the first book, all the stuff, and it's ending it. And then it's starting the third book. So it's not as much action as I would have liked, but there was a lot of action in this bad boy too. So if you read Lady Midnight and not Lord of Shadows, pick it up. It's so good. You won't be disappointed. It's definitely a little bit slower, but it really, I don't know, it needed to be done. This was the perfect middle to this trilogy, and I'm really glad I picked it up. So I also read this in June. This is a thick boy. This one was like 700 pages, and I read it in like 3 days, so we see what kind of life I live, right? Okay, and the last book that I read in June of 2019 was Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. Again, another Shadowhunter book, and the third book in the Dark Artifices trilogy. So again, there's not much I can say about this bad boy, because if you haven't read the other two, I don't want to spoil them for you. And this is the third one, so obviously if I talk about it, it's going to give away some things that happened in the first two. This book broke my heart. It built my heart up, and I was so happy, and I was so happy, and then it just ripped it out, and then it built it up again, and I kept ripping it out. Oh my god, it was so good. So, it was the perfect ending to this trilogy. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely, this was like my favorite of all of them. It was so good. It gave me all the things I wanted. it had the fairies, it had the shadow hunters, it had the vampires and the werewolves and the demons and the warlocks, and it was so good. They were all there. All of the things were in this book, and they were all perfect, and there was different worlds, and there was fighting. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I really want to do a book talk on this one, so please, please, please tell me that I should, because I really want to talk about this one. And the ending of Lord of Shadows. The ending of Lord of Shadows, can we talk about it? Because, oh my god, I thought I was getting stabbed in the chest. It hurt. It hurt. That shit hurted. It hurt. This book was so good. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Please pick it up if you haven't read it, because you're gonna love it. I loved it. I read it in a week, and it's like 900 pages. So, definitely pick this one up if you're looking for some good fantasy. Pick up all of the Cassandra Clare books. That's all I'm going to say about those right now. Anyway, guys, that is all the books that I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave me comments down below on what you want me to give book talks on. If you want me to talk about any of those more in depth, I totally can, without giving you too much. That was just those books without giving you too much. I can totally go in depth, and I can tell you all the spoilers, and we can talk about them, and we can chat about them, and we can have a grand old time if you guys want to. Please just let me know if you want me to do that, because I'm more than willing to do it. I love talking. I love books. They're my two favorite things. So when I put them all together, it's a grand old time. So let me know if you want me to do that, because I'm totally down for ranting about all of these books. I'm totally down for talking about all of them, because they're really good. Let me know in the comments down below what else I should be reading, because I have 5 more books that I've read in July. Trust me, there's more where that came from. I will be making a July wrap-up as soon as this month finished, and we can talk about all the books we want about July. Just let me know your favorite books of the month, because I want to know. I want new books to read. My TBR is overflowing, but I'm always up for new books to read. Who knows? I might read yours. Anyway, that is it, you guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!